The Secret Prayers of the Siddhas, Vibrational Invocation, a sacred transmission on how awakened beings speak to reality, not with language, but with vibration. Opening transmission. There are prayers you will never hear because they were never meant to be spoken aloud. There are invocations that do not use words, only soundless syllables carried on the breath of stillness. These are the secret prayers of the Siddhas, the fully awakened masters who discovered that the deepest communication with the divine happens not through speech, but through vibration. These prayers were never written. They are born in silence and delivered by presence. In this transmission, we enter that hidden domain, where sound becomes light, where feeling becomes form, where consciousness reshapes reality by the silent resonance of inner invocation. These are not prayers you say. They are prayers you become. 1. Who are the Siddhas? The word siddha means accomplished one, but this accomplishment is not of status or knowledge. A siddha is one who has dissolved the boundaries of the self, who no longer acts from ego, but from pure awareness. They are not defined by robes, titles, or ashrams. They are defined by their state. A siddha is a tuning fork for the divine. They vibrate so purely with source that even their silence becomes a transmission. They do not seek miracles. They are the miracle, because their every gesture, seen or unseen, ripples through the subtle fabric of the universe. 2. What is a vibrational invocation? A vibrational invocation is not a mantra you chant. It is not a script or a formula. It is a direct shaping of the subtle field through the resonance of pure intention. When the Siddhas pray, they do not speak to God as if separate. They speak from the space of union. Their words may be soundless. Their breath may be still. But what rises within them is a vibrational architecture, an inner geometry of consciousness that reshapes the outer world by retuning the inner one. It is like humming without sound, like bowing without movement, like radiating without light. 3. The 5 qualities of a siddha prayer. True siddha invocations share 5 subtle qualities. 1. Soundless sound. A vibration is felt, not heard. 2. Non-dual intention. The one who prays and that which is prayed to are not separate. 3. Stillness as transmission. The stiller the being, the louder the invocation. 4. No demand. Nothing is asked for, only aligned with. 5. Immediate presence. The moment of prayer is the moment of fulfillment. These prayers do not begin with please. They begin with I am, not as ego, but as presence itself aligning with the field of all possibilities. 4. How siddhas resonate with reality. Reality is not static. It is a living field of vibration. And just like a tuning fork can change the pitch of a nearby string, so too can a siddha's frequency shift the pattern of the external world. When they invoke, they do not ask reality to change. They harmonize with a different version of it, one already resonant with truth. And by becoming still enough, pure enough, hollow enough, they transmit that resonance into the subtle architecture of form. It is not about forcing change. It is about becoming change. This is not metaphysics. This is vibrational precision. 5. How to enter this form of prayer. You do not need to become a siddha to begin praying like one, but you must begin to leave behind the surface layers of effort and noise. Here's how to begin. 1. Sit in stillness. No need for perfect posture, just sincerity. 2. Let the breath settle. Let it soften without control. 3. Feel the body as vibration, not as form, but as field. 4. Bring forth the quality, not the request. Instead of praying for peace, radiate peace. Instead of asking for clarity, become clear. 5. Let the silence speak. If sound arises, let it come from the heart. If nothing arises, that is the deepest sound. This is not meditation. It is vibrational alignment. You are not praying to something. You are praying as something. 6. The role of the heart in siddha invocation. All vibrational invocation begins in the heart, not the physical organ, but the center of felt presence. The siddhas do not engage the intellect in prayer. They drop below it, into the space where sound becomes light and light becomes feeling. They hold their invocation not in the mind, but in the resonance of the chest. You may feel this as a warmth or glow in the sternum, a radiant silence expanding outward, a sense of inner fullness with no object. From here, the prayer emerges not as desire, but as transmission. Examples of vibrational invocation in practice. Let's make this real. Here are 3 everyday moments where you can begin praying like a siddha. 1. In conflict. Instead of arguing, drop into stillness. Internally radiate the frequency of peace. Do not speak. Let the other's nervous system entrain to your calm. 2. In confusion. Instead of demanding answers, breathe into the chest. Silently hold the vibration of I already know. Let clarity arise, not from mind but from field. 3. In desire. Instead of visualizing or scripting, become the vibration of already having it, not the object, but the feeling it represents. Let that frequency expand from your core. You are no longer asking reality to deliver. You're delivering yourself to the frequency of what is true. 8. Why these prayers are hidden. The siddhas did not withhold these practices out of secrecy. They withheld them out of sacredness. Not everyone is ready to release effort. Not everyone is willing to stop trying. Not everyone understands that silence is not emptiness, but entrance. The moment you realize that your vibration is your true voice, you begin to move as they moved, pray as they prayed, live as they lived, in unity, in stillness, in a whisper so powerful it reshapes the field around you. 9. The risks of misunderstanding this path. This is not about manifestation in the common sense. You do not use these prayers to bend reality to your ego. That would be distortion. Siddha invocation is about aligning with the deepest truth available, not creating fantasy, but dissolving illusion. The more ego is present, the less effective the invocation, because the ego radiates contraction, and prayer must radiate coherence. Do not fake these prayers. Feel them, let them arise, or remain silent until they do. Silence, too, is a siddha prayer. 10. How to deepen over time. As you continue, you'll notice the body becomes more radiant without trying. Others feel calmer in your presence. You begin to speak without speaking. The field around you becomes more fluid, and most of all, you no longer feel the need to force anything, because you trust vibration, you trust coherence. You trust the invisible as the source of the visible. Your life becomes the prayer, and your presence becomes the answer. Mystical reflection. A siddha once said, "The moment I stopped praying, I became prayer itself." You were never meant to beg the universe. You were meant to become the vibration of what is most deeply real. Let your stillness become a tuning fork. Let your breath become a bell. Let your presence become a luminous silence that speaks louder than words ever could. These are the secret prayers, not of the mouth but of the soul, not performed but radiated, not taught but remembered. You already know them. You only need to become quiet enough to let them rise, and when they do, do not speak, just feel, just hum in silence, and the universe will answer because it already heard you long before you knew you were speaking. If this sacred transmission stirred something within you, an echo, a memory, a deeper vibration, subscribe and stay close. This is not a channel of instruction. It is a space of transmission, of remembrance, of resonance. In the next episode, Moving Without Moving, Internal Movement as Yogic Travel, we will explore how stillness is not static, but a doorway to inner journeys so vast they collapse the very idea of distance. Until then, breathe less, do less, be more. Let your silence become your deepest voice.